I welcome you all, basketball degenerates, to another episode of the Pass First, Shoot Later podcast brought to you by the OC Basketball League. I'm your host, Zico Pepic, here with my co-hosts, Michael Van Wyck and Omar Almadine. What's up, fellas? How you guys doing?
What's going on? OC Basketball League, baby.
Representing there. Omar, we need to see a little more of that jersey, though.
Before he stands up and gets it on him, I'm doing good.
Good.
We're good. All you need to see is the OCBL. That's what I'm repping. I'm not repping my actual team today.
Well, I wanted to show off how amazing those jersey looks that you made for us. I was trying to give you a little shout out here, Jersey Labs, making the jerseys for us.
You know what? I appreciate that. Give me a second.
Okay, he disappeared. He's coming back.
Here you go.
There we go. Those are not this past season, but the season before. Omar's team, Doba Sports. This is the Steve Burt jersey.
Actually, no, that's still mine.
Oh, retired. It's yours. No, I meant that was the season he played with you.
Yeah, the season Steve Burt played with us. These are the Real Madrid replicas.
They look good. They look good. Although I still loved our last season jerseys much more. Those were my favorite so far.
Oh yeah, I mean those are nice. Those were also spit off from a Spanish team, but they did turn out really nice. As a matter of fact, Zico, it's funny. I was just at the mall, and they're selling Team USA jerseys. So I was curious to check out the fabric that you said. What the players are playing with and what they're selling in stores are completely two different textures.
Usually happens.
So yeah, I think that one's going to be hard to replicate.
As some context for people that are listening, we were just watching the Team USA game versus Canada. All of us were obviously not together, just separately. And right at the end of the game, I forgot somebody was being interviewed. I think it was Anthony Edwards, and you could kind of zoom in and see the jerseys that they're wearing, and they looked really good. They had like a certain texture in the material that kind of popped out a little bit, and we started messaging each other, wondering what they were, if we should use them for our league, things like that. But I don't know who's seen them, but the Team USA jerseys look very good this season.
They definitely do that, especially on the blue, on the away jersey. That texture that they have in pictures, you can kind of see it. It's actually pretty nice.
And speaking of, just so we can glide in there, Kawhi Leonard won't be wearing one anymore.
Interesting decision. Interesting decision.
It's funny because when I first saw it, it was initially presented as Kawhi Leonard's decision. But after listening to Grant Hill, it sounds like it was a Team USA decision who talked with the Clippers, and they had the Clippers and Kawhi Leonard's interests as the forefront of that. So what do you guys think actually happened? Do you think they all had a conversation and decided it was best, or do you think that something happened and they said, you're not the guy for the team?
I think it's hard for me to believe that he's not the guy for the team. The way Kawhi is, he's super quiet. He plays very fundamental basketball. He's a defensive first type of player. He can guard multiple positions. Kind of hard to see why that would be a bad thing for Team USA. However, Kawhi does get hurt often, and I'm not surprised that they looked at it as a situation of, we don't want to invest the roster spot in someone who we cannot rely on for the entirety of the tournament. So I think it probably is for the best. I don't think Kawhi is necessarily a good fit for Team USA. From the standpoint of
you don't think so?
Health, from the standpoint of health and reliability, not from the standpoint of play. He's, to be honest with you, he's the perfect international player. He grew up playing for didn't grow up, but he started the league playing for Pop, and playing with Manu and Tony Parker and Tim Duncan. So that European style basketball was already instilled in him. I think he'd be phenomenal there. So yeah,
well, I'm gonna disagree with you on the health part here, Zico, because there's at least 2 or 3 other guys on that roster right now that are health concerns as well. they can't stay healthy a full season, and that's Anthony Davis and Joel Embiid. So if we're using health as a not a fit, then I think there's more than one player on that team that should have not been on the team for health concerns. And we'll get into more about the roster setup and roles and positions, but I think it has to do with the Clippers. I think it has to do with the organization. We've seen this happen with other teams where the club does not allow them to participate in international play. I mean, for people that don't know, representing your country is an honor, but at the same time, there's no contractual agreement to your team. You're really playing at your own risk. And if you're under contract, the club has, I don't want to use the word authority, but they have some power over you, part of your contract, to whether they allow you to participate in international best play or not. I think with Kawhi, the fact that Paul George is gone, I think Steve Ballmer's investment in Kawhi kind of played a factor here of making that decision to not let him play.
If that's the case, I agree with you. But Mike's point was he thinks that there's a little more going on, right, Mike? You think that maybe Team USA felt like, hey, we don't need you here.
No, not at all. Nothing like that. I was just asking what you guys thought because it was presented one way initially when the news broke that Kawhi Leonard has decided not to. And then today or late last night, it comes out that Team USA actually is the ones who sent him home. So I was just asking what you guys thought. From my perspective, I think Kawhi Leonard's a great fit for Team USA, and I think it's more the Clippers and Team USA saying, hey, we don't want you to get hurt in this situation. We want you to be able to play in the season. So no, I don't think there's anything more going on. You guys just typically have
posed the question.
Yeah, you guys have more insider information, so I thought maybe you knew if there was more going on.
Well, you know what? I personally did not reach out to my friends that are, associated with Kawhi. But if you guys heard Grant Hill talk about Kawhi yesterday, and for somebody who's actually been in Kawhi's shoes, of the fact that whose career was derailed by injuries, we all know Grant Hill could have been one of the greatest to play the game had he not, been injured. So for somebody in his position, I think he understands the circumstance, the dilemma that Kawhi could be facing. And I think it could have been a decision also influenced by Grant Hill saying, hey,
you don't want to do this. You don't want to go down that road. You want to have your legacy.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I can see that too. So yeah. And then that leads me kind of into next year's excuse building. I don't know if you guys have heard any of this, but everybody's already going in that who's Kawhi's replacement? Derek White, a Boston Celtic. Now there's 3 Boston Celtics who played more games.
It's already Derek White. It's already been established.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's Derek White, and there's now 3 Celtics on the team, and the Celtics played more games than almost everybody in the league except Dallas. And now those 3 guys who are 3 big players on that Boston roster are going to have no rest, and then they're going to go in. So is this going to affect Boston next year?
Well, Mike, that's a very valid point. But before we get into that, I want to just touch on Kawhi one more time. And we talk about his health, and I think, it's an honor for a lot of people to represent their country, and this is a chance for him to get, a gold medal under his belt, under his pedigree in his basketball career, and being on a team with so many, with the depth that they have. He wouldn't be carrying the load like he would be for the Clippers. So, taking that opportunity away from, if it was indeed the Clippers or Team USA and not a Kawhi decision, I really think it's messed up, because he's not going to have to play 40 minutes. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to have to play the entire game. He's not carrying Team USA on his back. He's not going in. I know you hate this, Mike, but he's not going into Team USA like where Kobe's like, I'm going to put this team on my shoulder and reestablish dominance, in 2010. He's just one of the 12 guys on the roster. So I think if it was really a Team USA and Clippers, I think it's messed up, taking away an opportunity for this guy who is considered one of the top players in our league not get a chance to play for a gold medal. Because again, you have a lot of depth there. He's not going to be heavily relied upon. He's going to play a big role on that team defensively.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it, I think it would have been great for him to play. And the fact that he would have had very little pressure on him would have been great for him. Um, but again, like the fact that he misses, like you were mentioning Embiid and Anthony Davis, like Kawhi misses to a bigger extreme than both of those guys have. If you look at the amount of games Kawhi has missed, I don't know if there's anyone in the league that's kind of on par with him for the amount of years he's played and how many games he's missed. So for him to go into a situation where he's playing competitive basketball that is important basketball, even if he's playing 10 to 15 minutes a game and risking another injury, like it's for the betterment of him, team, and the Clippers, it's not ideal for him to be on that roster.
But Zico, since you brought up Joel Embiid,
I didn't want Joel Embiid on this roster either.
but we're talking about how many games he's played, right? So we're talking about just looking at Joel Embiid, 31, 63, 64, 51, 51, 68, 66, 39. Joel Embiid has not played more than 68 games in a season.
Right.
Compare that to Kawhi Leonard, right? And just so that, for fans that don't know stats, right? Because most people are not, Kawhi has played longer. He's played 5 years longer than Joel. And he was at 64, 58, 66, 64, 72, 74, 9, 60, 57, 52, 52, 68. So he's actually averaged more games a season than Joel Embiid has. So I think from that standpoint.
Yeah, but he also took an entire season off. And there's another thing is Greg Popovich part of the coaching staff at all?
Yes.
No, not this season.
I thought he was.
No, the coaching staff right now is actually Steve Kerr's the head coach, Mark Few from Gonzaga, Tyronn Lue, his Clipper head coach, and Eric Spoelstra.
Yeah, there's definitely some Clipper influence there. Ty Lue.
And that's all I'm saying is that's terrible. If that's.
You know what though, Omar,
I'm sure
differently because the team, if you look at it from the Clippers standpoint, the Clippers just lost Paul George. They gambled big time not paying him. They lost. They basically lost SGA for him. Mm-hmm. They gave up SGA and draft picks for Paul George,
like 6 or 7 draft picks, right?
They let him walk. They let him walk, and now they're in a situation of we just lost our second best player. We can't afford for Kawhi to be hurt.
But are they really going to play 12? Are they really going to play 12 men?
No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
What I'm saying? You just keep them on the roster.
From that standpoint of, if you look at both sides, there's risk involved from both sides. And I feel the same way about Joel Embiid. I don't really get why Joel Embiid is on this roster personally. I don't think he needs to be there. I think he's a high injury risk for the team, regardless of how many guys are on it, because he's the kind of guy who plays so physical and big that he's going to get bumped around and hit around and something could go wrong. And there goes Philly's chance.
He has to stay out of foul trouble, and he demonstrated that yesterday against Team Canada. I think the issue with Joel Embiid, and we can get into the detail about, not forgetting Mike's point about the Boston, the 3 Boston.
Yeah, we can come back to that because now that we're talking about Joel, I think some stuff.
I think Joel Embiid with the roster they have is not really needed for that roster. I think it has to play with the fact that he went for his U.S. citizenship and chose Team USA versus another team.
France or Cameron, I thought were the other two, and that's what I was going to ask about. What do you guys feel about that?
I mean, it happens a lot, Mike, more than most people know.
Kyrie was supposed to play for Australia, picked USA.
I mean, it happens a lot. I think this could be a strategic thing from Team USA to having Joel Embiid play for them, so that this way he won't ever be a threat for them in international competition, because then he won't be eligible to play again for any other team, except without a waiver and exception. But those are very difficult to obtain. Just like right now, Thon Maker plays for Australia and he's trying to get a waiver to play for South Sudan. So I think there's could be a strategic approach from that. I don't think he's needed for that team. Like Zico was saying, there's a lot of negatives to Joel Embiid's presence on Team USA, in my opinion. It's a different type of game. The three is shorter, so that means it gets clogged up inside a little more. He's bigger than most of the guys he's going to play against, except
Well,
Zach
there's legal goaltending now too, though.
Correct, but he's not your athletic type to worry about that. You know, the playing the ball off the rim. If you ask me personally, I would like to see a Miles Plumlee on that team as a 12 option big man, somebody who's athletic enough, who's only going to, you know, run the floor, rebound, block shots, contest shots, because you have too much scoring. You don't need scoring from the 5 spot.
So I was going to say that you guys watched the game, obviously, right? And obviously there was a little knock here against Anthony Davis since he's injury prone as well. However, the Bam Adebayo and Anthony Davis combo, I think, is going to be absolutely lethal for Team USA throughout this entire tournament. You have two guys who both move their feet well. They can guard 4 and 5. They can interchange there easily. Bam can slide down and guard threes as well. They both have really good length. They're both good shot blockers, and they move constantly. See, this is why I didn't like Joel Embiid with this team, because he doesn't move as well as the rest of the roster does. So he kind of slows the pace a little bit. But when you have Bam and Anthony Davis on this team and they're on the court together, I think that they're going to be deadly in international games. And yes, they don't really have the size to guard someone like Jokic. But the fact that you could put them in there together, like you could kind of do what the Minnesota Timberwolves did when you had Gobert and Karl-Anthony Towns switching, sharing, stuff like that, right? So you could do that kind of stuff to kind of offset some of the size and girth that Jokic has. So I actually love that duo. I know you're laughing at that, Mike. I kind of try to slide that in there, but yeah, I actually love that duo. I think that they're going to be deadly in this tournament together. I'd also like to see both of them starting, by the way, which is something else I want to get to starting lineup.
Which I think yesterday's game is not indicative of who's starting or not.
No, I think yesterday's game was just an exhibition, just to test out different lineups, see how they play.
Exactly. They got a couple, and they're going to play Canada again, and that's the thing. Like, they're not, you know, and when you do this international play, except, you know, for teams like Team USA or the bigger teams, they don't really show you their starting lineups right away compared to like some of the smaller countries who are trying to build their core right off the bat and try to establish cohesiveness. But yeah, I agree with you, Zico. The Anthony Davis Bam Adebayo combo is probably lethal, especially if you consider potentially going with a starting lineup of KD and LeBron and Steph.
I don't think sure they're going to mess around with it based on matchups. I want to get one question out of the way. This can just be quick.
I don't see LeBron and KD and Steph not starting. So those 3 spots are.
I know. I think Bam or Anthony Davis won't start because of it, and I don't think that's the correct choice. But Mike, go ahead, ask your question.
Just right out of the gates, semi off topic, but this team, some people are saying it's better than the original Dream Team. We all disagree with that, right?
Yes, they're not better than the Redeem Team, let alone the Dream Team.
Omar?
They're not better.
Okay, then let's move on. I just want to make sure we're all on that same page. Because I heard that, and that's crazy.
Heard that. When are you hearing that talk? I haven't heard that yet.
That's kids that talk. Kids who never watched Michael Jordan play, who barely watched the end of Kobe Bryant's career, who don't know any better, who don't know who Jason Kidd is other than him being the Dallas Mavericks coach. That's who says these things. People who don't understand. This is a very good team. This is a much better team than what they've been feeling the last few seasons of play. I like this team. Nowhere near Dream Team or Redeem Team. So
or Dream Team 2 even with Shaq.
Yeah, not even close. I agree.
Yeah, okay.
Not even close.
You know why they wanted to field this team is because last
everyone's getting close.
Well, no, last tournament they also lost.
Well, that's FIBA. This is Olympics.
Yeah.
It's all international
I,
play.
I agree. I agree, and I definitely see your point, and that's why I think they went and got best of the best new plus best of the best. The Durant's, the LeBron. LeBron for one game, in my opinion, is still the best and definitely top five. If you need one game, top to
But
bottom.
that's the thing. KD will get you a game. LeBron can get you a game. Steph can get you a game. Devin Booker can, yeah, like they have
Yeah.
a guy that can get you a game.
LeBron can get me 3.8 quarters. And then I need KD or Steph or someone else to finish.
Stop it. Stop. This is craziness. But anyways, and then the other
Right.
thing is Anthony Edwards saying that he's the man of the team. That was just crazy. I like his confidence, but he ain't there yet.
I don't think I don't think he's not there yet or not. Of course, Mike, there's the vets that are on the team that have been in, there before, which is the KD, but he also was there last year. We know that we had this on the previous episode where Anthony Davis has the dog in him that most of those guys on that roster lack. I'm sorry, Anthony Edwards has the dog in him that a lot of these guys on this roster are missing.
Yeah, I like I said, I'm all for the confidence. I like it.
It wouldn't be
But it's not that
surprising
bad
for him to be the X factor because he's able to do it on both ends of the floor. You know what I'm saying? But again, he is probably going to be the face of Team USA if he stays healthy. So to start now, I don't see why the throne won't be handed to him. Because we're talking about 4 years from now. We know LeBron's not going to play 4 years from now. KD's
Do
not.
we?
Do we? I know, seriously.
You know what? Touche.
Do we?
Touche. I stand corrected. But logically, right? We think some of these guys, this is probably their last run. So there could be the handing of the torch over to a younger leader for Team USA. But going back to your, since we're talking about the roster and fits here, let's go back to your
Really
point
quick,
about.
before we do that, I wanted to talk about one thing in particular, since we were talking about Kawhi and something kind of just popped in my head. And we just talked about, is it tactical from Team USA standpoint or the Clippers standpoint? There's another situation that just happened as well, right before this all started, before a Kawhi situation happened. And that had to do with Andrew Wiggins. And obviously Steve Kerr is the coach of this team. However, the Golden State Warriors denied Andrew Wiggins the right to play and represent Team Canada because he was involved in a trade, a potential trade that didn't even go through. So because of that, he cannot play this season. And it's kind of ironic that the team that actually beat Team USA, Team Canada, loses one of their key players who definitely would have helped last night, especially with defensive perimeter last night. What do you guys think of that?
I mean, that just goes back to what I was saying. If it was a Clipper and Team USA thing, that's messed up because it's happened to other players, and Andrew Wiggins is a great example.
Yeah, I could picture Tyronn Lue telling Steve Kerr, like, "Hey, you just denied Wiggins. I don't want my main guy on this team either." So, and then like Mike said, both of them saying, like, let's get as many Celtics on this team as we can, and hope some of them either get hurt or burned out.
I don't think
Joking,
anyone's
joking.
rooting for injury,
I'm
but
joking.
burnt out. I definitely think, and I remember. I mean, obviously, a much different level. But when we were younger, we played nonstop. It didn't change anything. It didn't affect anything. These guys, with the exception of Drew Holiday, they're young enough. They can keep playing. I don't think the wear and tear may come seasons from now, but Jason Tatum's not going to get worn out playing a couple extra Olympic games, right? He probably could play a few preseason games less, some less minutes maybe in the beginning. They'll pull him earlier, maybe something like that. But I don't think it's going to have a long-term effect on the entire season. And I just think they're building in an excuse, and I think there's no reason to do that.
Well, here's the thing. we still don't know what the starting five is going to be, right? We still don't know the rotation. We still don't know the depth chart, right? We still don't know the minutes played by certain guys. So I think it's a little early to kind of speculate on how this will impact the Boston Celtics. Yes, they have three players on there. I'm a Jason Tatum fan, but he also, to me, I don't want to say I wouldn't have picked him, but then again, I can see the value that Drew Holiday brings from a defensive end, from a veteran point guard position. Because right now, if we're talking about healthy defensive point guards that are American, I mean, how many do we have that could be named over Drew Holiday right now? Not too many that are decent.
Zero. I'm taking Drew Holiday out of all of them.
You see what I'm saying? So right now, that's your best defensive minded.
Oh yeah, no, I think all three of those guys. I mean, Derek White is.
Well, Derek White is your
maybe.
glue guy. Derek White is your Mr. Intangible, Mr. Do It All, Mr. Hustle guy. He's not going to
play. He's not going to play a ton. Like you said, they're not going to go 12 men deep.
But we don't know, and he might end up playing more than a lot of people because of his intangibles. The fact that he doesn't need the ball in his hand. He's going to guard the best player. He's going to die for 50. See, in international basketball, it's more gritty than the NBA. And Derek White has shown in the NBA he's willing to sacrifice his body for that. So this guy could be also another X factor, in my opinion. Jason Tatum out of the Boston Celtics to me is the odd one here because, again, with the scores on the team, why do you need him?
Because he's a fantastic player. Like he has.
I'm a Jason Tatum fan.
Necessary.
Yeah, but
Omar, I'm going to counter that a little bit.
Like
Go
Tatum,
for it.
I'm going to counter that just a little bit.
defense.
Why did you need LeBron James on this team?
He's
If you're
LeBron.
starting
What-
to build, I
you-
know,
you
I know,
wa-
no,
you- but you watched
listen,
him yesterday.
I know. But like, if you're starting to build towards the future, and you're putting a new face on Team USA, which they keep talking about, which
That's
they
what the
actually
select team is
mentioned
for.
Anthony Edwards is being.
Jason Tatum is in for me.
Well, that's
yes.
that's what your
Right.
select team is for. Your select
that-
team is to build everything.
Right, I know. And so like my whole thing is like if I'm going to build this future of, the team that's going to be playing against Wemby for the next, 3 Olympic Games in the finals, right? I'm building it around Anthony Edwards and Jason Tatum and probably Bam. Like those 3 guys I'm building with.
Well,
Like
I would also,
And based on what we saw, Cooper Flag.
well, Cooper Flag is see that's another thing. He'd be the first high school, so-called high school kid, but this, this is a team where they could have easily put, a college kid or like a Cooper Flag, special rare case, type of player who demonstrated against them that he's gonna be a problem for a lot of NBA players in the future. But I mean, one of the players that played on Team Select that is a big man, even though I mentioned Miles Plumlee, is Kessler Walker. He's a 7-foot. Walker Kessler, sorry. Walker Kessler.
That's all right. He was filling out a Scantron.
So at the end of the day, I confuse them because I know personally Kessler Edwards, who plays for the Kings, and I was confusing the names, trying not to confuse them, and I still confuse them. But yeah, Walker Kessler, he played on Team USA. He was on the select team. He's a 7-footer. He's a young guy that also could have been with this core of, the new faces.
You know what? Let's do this. Let's each pick. If we were to take one of these guys off, in fact, let's do 2. Let's take off 2 guys from this current roster, and then think of 2 replacements that we would fill in for them if it was our choice. You guys interested in doing that? I think that's actually a good view into how we feel about this team and where we feel this team is going. Because I already have 2 guys. I have 3 guys. Honestly, I would not have added to this roster.
I got to pull up the final roster.
Well, I can tell you who the final roster is right here, Mike.
You can get it too. I got it.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
Well, for people that are listening that don't know, it's Bam Adebayo, Devin Booker, Stephen Curry, Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, Anthony Edwards, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Halliburton, Drew Holiday, LeBron James, Jason Tatum, and Derek White.
Yeah, and I can tell you straight off the bat which 2 I'm removing.
Well, go ahead, Mike.
Halliburton and Embiid.
Okay. So who would you replace him with and why?
This is going down to you're not going to play 12 men deep. Halliburton, I would replace with another Celtic, unfortunately, even though Derek White's there. Brown deserves to be on this team. I think Brown gives you all those things that you need and want. He fills gaps.
Didn't Brown choose not to play?
No, he wants to play.
No,
It was
there's issues. There's
rumor has it it's an issue, and it's a thing with Nike.
yes.
So there's lots of details. There's things that I don't know about. I don't know the details, but I'm sure there's more to it. But I would put in Brown over Halliburton. And as far as Joel Embiid, I'd have to look and really find a guy that kind of fits in. But whoever you're going to put there, it should be somebody who you really want to be on the team for the future and can develop like a Cooper Flag. They've always done that young guy where they've thrown it to Christian Laettner, whomever it may be, when Anthony Davis was on his first Olympic roster. And you can start to develop that guy. I don't know who that guy is. I don't know who's coming in. Bronny James no, just kidding. But no, I think you put somebody younger on there to develop and grow.
Mike, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think from the Joel Embiid, I already mentioned it earlier in the show.
Yeah, you think it's strategic,
but no, and I think he shouldn't be on the team, and I can replace him with somebody else. But taking out Tyrese and you're replacing him with Cooper Flag and somebody else. Well, right now, the one thing about this roster is they're really missing a point guard and a true floor general.
You have Drew Holiday and Derek White.
Derek White's not really a point guard,
but he can run that position. He can pass the ball, you said. He's a glue guy.
So can LeBron. Right?
100% agree.
But the thing is what made a lot of these Team USA special is they had that true leader. Whether it was Jason Kidd, like Zico mentioned, back in the original Dream Team, you had Magic Johnson. You know what I'm saying? Remember, there was that whole
argument. You had John Stockton too.
You had John Stockton. So the thing is, you taking away the third point guard on the team.
But you're not going to get to Halliburton through Holiday and Steph Curry. You're not going to get there.
We still don't know what the roster is going to be. I agree with you. I agree with you.
But we can both say that Halliburton at the point guard position is going to trail Steph Curry and Drew Holiday.
I would say that's why I call him the third point guard.
Yeah. So, and that's why I'm saying is you have Derek White who can play that position if you need it. You add in Brown to back up these guys, and because I think Brown deserved it. But like I said, there's a whole thing with Nike apparently, and then you bring in that young guy like Zico. To his point, you bring in that young guy to develop him for 4 years from now. That's just my perspective, and the two that I would change. I mean, I think all the rest of those guys. I think my next, if I really had to dig deep, but I don't know who I'd replace him with, would be Devin Booker. I think the rest of those guys all play a role and do something. And Devin Booker's the same way. I'm saying if I had to stretch to somebody else, you're not getting rid of Anthony Edwards. You're not getting rid of Tatum, in my opinion. You're not going to drop Durant and Steph Curry just because of their whole legacy and what they've done, right? Obviously, you're not getting rid of LeBron because for all intents and purposes, he's still the face of Team USA. So I'm sure that Zico's probably going to drop him, but from my perspective,
I'm interested to see Zico's 3 before I state mine.
Well, he said 2. I stretched to 3.
I'm stretching to 3 too, to be honest, because there's 3 guys on it, and for me, it would be LeBron, Embiid, and Booker. LeBron, I know you're saying he's been the face. I don't think LeBron has been the face of Team USA. I don't think he ever was the face of Team USA. I think they tried using him as the face of Team USA. Don't think he ever was the face of Team USA.
You got to think internationally. How other people see, what other people see for Team USA, what other people think of it. It's not us looking in.
I know that
outside.
I know that. I don't think the other people have looked at him as the face of Team USA. You know, he takes seasons off. The first time he played in it, they lost. You know, the first thing that he did. The second and third time that he played in it, they won, and Kobe Bryant was the face of the team. That's what other teams looked at. Whether you
there's no more Kobe though.
I know
Kobe hit a mountain.
He didn't play after that, Mike.
That's what I'm saying. So what
In
I'm
the
saying is
playoffs,
right now, if you
they
look
don't
at
look
this
at him like,
team,
I don't think the rest of the world looks at him as the face anymore. I'm being honest. I'm not saying that
okay,
disrespectfully.
go to social media and tell me which player has more followers.
I get what you're saying,
I
but
get
then
what you're
again,
saying, Mike, but this is different.
this is not the
European
Lakers.
basketball is different.
This is not the Lakers. This is
Yeah,
not.
the world basketball is
Because-
completely different.
And
Well,
trust
and
me,
hold on,
China, you got to remember it's Nike. It's all those things
hold on.
outside
Mike,
of the U.S.
But Mike,
guys.
you're missing a point here. I get where you're trying to go with it, and I know what your selling point is, and this is the same thing we talk about LeBron signing another 3-year deal with the Lakers, etc. Yes, if it was an exhibition tour going around playing different teams in Europe and everything, yes, LeBron will sell those tickets. Right now, these teams, Mike, and I hate to say this because me and Zico come from another country, so we know the pride behind representing a national team and a nation. These fans at just specifically in these tournaments can care less whether you're LeBron James or not, because you say that, trust me, it's not the same as LeBron James, the Laker, the
Right.
NBA player. It's a different LeBron.
That's the difference.
And think about it, Kobe, and I know you hate to do the comparison, but Kobe spent a lot of time in China. Therefore, his international brand was bigger than LeBron's international
And he
brand.
had a more European style game, which European players love much more.
And then Kobe also came from being in Italy as a kid, and he came with the, LeBron has embraced the American culture to the fullest, right? Kobe was a little bit more international with it,
Right.
but
There's nothing wrong with that. It's just like that. We're just telling you of how he's looked at outside. He's not looked at as the face. I'm just telling you.
And-
right now, American
I'm telling you, I
American
think you're
players
wrong.
are the villains, and everybody wants to cut their head off when they get there. Trust me, I'll say this personally because some of the closest people that I know just competed against Spain and Bahamas for our qualifications from the Lebanese team, and Bahamas had Buddy Hield, DeAndre Ayton, you know what I'm saying? They had some NBA players on there, and Lebanon was toe for toe with them trying to make it past them. They didn't care if you're an NBA player or not because you're representing the name across your chest, which is the country. And I think that's how it has always been the knock for Team USA. Is the players don't play for the name on the front of the chest, and that's why they had to do what they did. There's stories about this. This is not me even making it up. This is there. And this is not the same. So it's not a marketing thing. Yes, I'm not saying the marketing is going to go to a zero. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying the likeness and the marketing is going to go to a zero.
And then your comment in terms of Nike, well, dude,
Nike has no say so.
Joel Embiid is Skechers and Steph Curry is Under Armour.
Mhm.
So like, regardless of what you think about that, like there's other things that are going on there.
But Mike,
None of those are Nike.
Yeah, but not international. Not all international teams are sponsored by Nike.
Right.
So you have so
In
many
fact, a
different
lot of
brands.
teams are not sponsored by Nike.
Actually, most European teams are not sponsored by Nike.
I understand that, guys, but we're talking about fans and people who buy it, not the teams. I'm not talking about Team Canada looks at it.
Nobody's buying a team. Nobody's buying a team.
LeBron is not
LeBron USA jersey.
LeBron is not as popular as he is in the US as he would be outside the US. I'm telling you that honestly. Like I've told you this for years. Like that's not, look, like Omar said it perfectly. Like LeBron embraced America to the fullest. And America embraced LeBron to the fullest. However, the rest of the world doesn't feel that way about LeBron that we do here. And it all has to do with the way he plays. It's nothing bad about him. He didn't do anything, like, it's not like a personality. It's not a knock. It's just that they look at him as an American football type of player. They don't like that style. They don't like the big rugged physicality, stuff like that. They don't like that stuff. The way they play, they try to play more elegant. Like even Jokic, as like slow and methodical as he is, there's like an elegance to the way he plays, and they love that. LeBron doesn't have that.
And Mike, all I'm saying is he's not the Lakers LeBron as far as the marketing branding. He's not zero either. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that drops when it comes to international play. Most international people are not buying a Team USA jersey. They'll buy a Laker LeBron jersey, but they're not buying a Team USA.
Right. That's and if you don't believe us, Mike, go look at sales for Team USA jerseys outside of Team USA. It's nuts. It's complete. There's more Luka Doncic Slovenia jerseys sold than anything from Team USA. I can guarantee you that. There's gonna be way more Wemby France jerseys sold than anything on Team USA. In fact, one of the guys that I felt needed to be a replacement for these three is one of the guys that would have his jersey sold, and that's Kyrie. We were just talking about they needed a point guard, and Kyrie's not on this team. And I know he's not on this team because he just left Nike and signed with Anta, which I don't care for Anta at all. I'm disappointed in that signing. But Kyrie should have been on this team because he's one of those guys that the world loves to see. The world loves to watch play basketball outside
Well,
of
there's also the political behind Kyrie that a lot of international people are going to rally behind.
right.
So yes, I'm not gonna say that's
Yeah, they
not a
didn't want to
factor.
put him in a situation where he gets to talk about Palestine or something like that.
And that's what they're saying Jaylen Brown is faced with right now as well. So let's call a spade here, right? Hopefully we don't get banned for
Yeah.
going again.
We won't
here,
get
but
banned for mentioning it. We're fine. But yeah, my three that I would have replaced was Embiid, Booker, and LeBron. Like we just talked about redundancy. I didn't see where Booker was needed on this team either, to be honest with you. He's a shooting guard. You have a ton of these 2, 3, 4 type of players that are on this team. I didn't think he was necessary. I would have rather had one more point guard. I don't think Steph's a point guard. I know they're kind of playing LeBron at point guard right now, which is fine next to Steph. That works. But I would have liked to have one more point guard on this team. I think Kyrie would have fit really well, especially as the backup lead ball handler next to Tyrese Halliburton. I think they would have been a really good combo together. Just the way like him and Luka are playing, obviously just faster. So I would have liked to see Kyrie on this team personally, more than Booker. And in terms of replacements for LeBron and Embiid, that was actually kind of hard for me to decide. Even if I didn't think they should have been on the team, it's hard to replace them with anybody. The guys that I thought of for Embiid, like if I were to get a center, I'd kind of want somebody who's more of a rim runner, somebody who could run the floor. And Jarrett Allen from Cleveland was a potential option. Walker Kessler, obviously. And then even someone who's like a pick and pop guy like Miles Turner, I thought could have been a good option. I think he was on the team last for the FIBA tournament. And then for Braun, I probably would have done Cooper Flag or Banchero. Like I talked about, like building a future with these guys. I think both of those would have been good options for me personally. And it's nothing against LeBron. It's just that at some point, it was like the Jason Kidd situation. Jason Kidd came, played one, and then it was like done the next one, even though he could have been on the next one. Just at some point, you need to start rebuilding. And I feel like that's the point where he's there.
well, I think you guys all have valid points, and you actually called out one of the names, Zico, that I wanted to mention, who was on Team USA, who is, a future, superstar in our league, and he's trending in that direction, was Paulo Panchero, right? You know what I'm saying? His game is also methodical for international play. You know what I'm saying? The ability to post up, the ability to, to score at 3 levels. To me, he's like, we all remember how they used to say it was Olympic Melo. Panchero right now to me is a broke version, slower version of Melo, Olympic Melo. He's able to kind of do similar things. Putting Cooper Flag aside, even though I think he showed to demonstrate he can be on there, but just because he's still not in college, I'll just put him on the outside looking in for the sake of this conversation. To me, another player, I think they needed another guard. I think a guard in this situation could have been either Jalen Brunson or De'Aaron Fox.
De'Aaron Fox is a good one. I didn't think of De'Aaron Fox.
And the reason being is because you have your Tyrese Halliburton, who's a pass first type guard. You have your Drew Holiday, who's your defensive minded guard, and you bring in one of those two who are your scoring, and they're basically the new generation of the Kyrie, right? So basically, I'm just going with a younger version of what Kyrie would have brought to the team is a scoring guard, somebody who's going to be a matchup nightmare for opponents. I did mention Kessler Walker, another player that I think that who represented Team USA, so he understands. Kessler Walker, right? What did I say?
Walker Kessler.
Oh my God, Walker Kessler. Bottom line, the 7-footer from Utah, right? So, I think a Chet Holmgren would have been a good.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Reason being is he's already played and represented Team USA at the junior level, so he understands that he's played in that international game, that environment, even though it's a different stage. But again, we're talking about his last season with OKC. He's demonstrated his ability to be a factor, and I think he gives them that option to stretch the floor. Like you mentioned, he would be a great alongside Bam Adebayo.
Yeah.
So to me, going with the younger end, because even though you replace those three guys with three young people, because again, we talked about we don't know the depth charts right now. So having three young guys who can learn from this experience and participate in the environment, I think would have been more beneficial for the next 4-year run, especially 2028 is going to be in America. You have to win it. You have to dominate. You can't even just win. You have to dominate.
And that's why I thought it starts now, that they had to start doing this now, because dude, in 4 years, Wemby's going to be literally dominating. And they have dude, just Wemby, Bilal Koulibaly, Alex Sarr, what's the other French kid?
Zachary,
yes. And also Pedoit or whatever the other one is, the other guard. That team is going to be absolutely Pacomi Pedoit or something like that. The guard that they have 6'6" long, athletic kid. They have
also that they have so many other. There's Nadir Haifi, who plays for Paris, who's a great overseas player, and that's the whole thing. Like, I think
in 4 years, that team is going to be stacked, and they're all young guys that are building towards it. And you're going to have the 2028 Olympics here. And this is like why I just felt like Steph hasn't been doing this, right? Steph I was cool with. Even KD, I felt like didn't really need to be there. I felt like you needed to build this. I know they want to win, but you need to build something for next time. And I thought this was really important year to do that. And I feel like they missed out on some of those opportunities to build up those guys. Like Ant is there, Tatum is there. That's great. Bam is still there. Like, you got to build with those guys, but you need to make sure that you're ready for next time too. So, and also one more thing, I got to throw this out there. I'm a little shocked that both LeBron and AD are on this team, considering the situation that's happening with the Lakers and how important that they'll be to the team next season. We didn't have a great offseason, and for them to both be on this team, potentially getting hurt, potentially wearing themselves out for the next season.
Did the Lakers have an off season?
We didn't. I just
also you said terrible. Everybody, while we have this, go like and subscribe, but also go comment and tell these two that LeBron James is known internationally.
I didn't say he's not known internationally.
I know, but what you said is crazy.
Looking at is the face.
How is it crazy?
What you said is crazy. This guy he is the most endorsed athlete in the world. He is just everything that you guys.
Did LeBron play 2016? Did LeBron play 2016? I don't think he did. LeBron didn't play 2016. Did he? Like Kobe and LeBron were on the team in 2008 and 2012. I don't think he played.
LeBron 08, 2012.
He wasn't on the 2016 team, but that doesn't mean anything.
He hasn't been the face of the team. The year he played, he was not the face of that team.
I'm saying he is the face of this team.
I don't think he is. I look at Steph more as the face than I look at LeBron at this point, Mike. It's not a disrespect to LeBron. I just look at Steph as more of the face of this team than he is. I look at Anthony Edwards as more of a face than he is.
Steph didn't play on the 2016 team.
I know he didn't. That's what I'm saying. I look at Steph and Anthony Edwards more as the face.
None of these guys did. Only Kevin Durant did. He's the only one returning.
Right. So what I was saying was the last time LeBron played was 2012. He wasn't the face of the team even then. What makes you think he's the face now at 40 years old, Mike?
Because it's a completely different team.
He's still not the face of this team. He's not the go-to guy. He's not the guy that's going to lead them to the title. I think
he's the most recognized. He's the guy they know.
Mike, I'm going to say this, and
Steph is known more than he is, Mike.
Guys, everyone you've been my friend. Crazy. That's crazy that you think that Steph Curry is more recognized than LeBron James.
That's
Then
crazy.
Yes.
you live in a bubble called America, bro. And I'm gonna say this for you and any other listener that's on here that doesn't understand international hoop and has not left this damn country. Is you live in this bubble where you think America is superior to the world in everything. It's not.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying LeBron James is more recognized everywhere than Steph Curry.
That's wrong.
It's
Nope.
not wrong, guys.
Nope.
Okay,
Nope.
Steph Curry has changed the game worldwide from where 3-pointers are more important than actual layups. He
No,
transcends.
that's analytics.
Well, but that's because of Steph too. Everybody. Okay, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Okay,
Who was the
So-
top selling jersey last year?
hold on.
That's
Across
because
the world.
everyone already has a LeBron James jersey. They already bought it.
No.
Who,
That's
who
not
didn't
true.
have Steph Curry's jersey? What did he do last year? He didn't even make the playoffs. What made him the number one selling jersey last year worldwide? What
Nobody
made
had
his
it yet.
jersey the number one selling jersey worldwide if he didn't even make the playoffs?
Nobody had it yet.
Mike, they both have 5 titles, bro. They both have 4 titles. They both have 4 titles. They've been competing against each other in the finals every single year. Everyone knows who Steph Curry is.
By the way, Steph Curry was number 1, LeBron was number 2, Jason Tatum was number 3. Victor Wembanyama's 4, Giannis is 5, Luka 6. So you got 4 Europeans in the top 6 out of top 7. But hold on. But Mike, I'm gonna ask you a question. Since you're talking about analytics and all that bullshit. Okay, people used to do the no look pass, say magic, right? Everybody used to do the Jordan flip, right? Jordan.
Stick their
People-
tongue out.
LeBron is too guys. This is
People
silly.
shoot
This is the
threes right now,
silliest
turn
thing.
around like Steph. Nobody does LeBron's bullshit 3, his signature 3. Nobody cares to emulate LeBron on the
Harder to
basketball.
do.
Mike, you're
harder
just
to do.
saying
Okay,
that
I'm
you're
done.
just saying that people didn't have LeBron's jersey. How many jerseys has LeBron changed at this point? He has changed his jersey numbers and
3.
teams multiple times. He's changed numbers too. Don't forget that. So he's had the Cleveland Cavaliers 23. He's had the Miami Heat 6. He had the Cleveland Cavaliers 6. He had the Lakers 23. He switched
never-
numbers into the
never had the
Lakers.
Cavs.
Guys, this is
Yeah, no,
bananas
no.
that you're
No, it's
actually
not. No, it's
debating
not. Steph
this.
Curry never once changed his number. Never once. He's been on the same team, and he is the most selling jersey last year.
One season. One season.
He's had it for multiple seasons. I'm telling
No,
you,
but I'm
Mike,
saying
more
one season
people
he
like
led sales.
more
You
people
guys
like
are
internationally.
insane.
No, I'm telling you, Mike. Look, LeBron's sales are going to be in America. Outside of America, he's not as liked. I'm not dishing him at all. I'm just telling you the truth. That's not how the rest of the world looks.
And I'm telling you that based on numbers and sales and every other measurable thing other than what you've talked to.
Find those
people.
numbers and then we'll go over
No,
them.
and you know what? I found an article and I don't know the authenticity of the article, Zico, but they have LeBron listed as number 2 versus Michael Jordan number 1 and Messi number 3 and Tom Brady. But the key point that I made to my argument, Mike, and the part that you are missing is people will buy LeBron's Cavs jersey, Laker jersey, Miami jersey, but nobody cares about his Team USA jersey. And this is a different environment.
Okay.
It's a different game. This
So
is a
that
contest.
I will completely agree with that.
That's been my argument, and you're arguing
But
back
that's
on
not
that.
no, that's not what I'm arguing. I think that people in different countries aren't going to buy a Team USA jersey to begin with.
That's what we said.
But you
No, but
started
that's not what I said.
on the
No,
team
I'm not
for
saying
marketing and sales and all that stuff. That's how you started your argument.
not. That's not what I said. I said he is the face of this team because people know him. I'm not saying that they're going to go buy U.S. jerseys. That never came out of my mouth.
So you think
I'm not
that-
going to go buy any jersey. If anybody was
so-
playing for a different country, I'm not going to go buy. I mean,
So-
I don't
so-
buy
so
jerseys
you're
anyways,
telling-
but that's crazy.
By the
You're
way, I'm
telling-
just looking at all-time jersey sales for all NBA players. All time, number 1 is Michael Jordan. Number 2 is Kobe Bryant. Number 3 is LeBron James. Just as a heads up. So
Yeah.
all time worldwide, number 4 is Magic Johnson.
Okay.
Number 5 is Larry Bird. So just as a heads up, like these are the names that the most people buy their jerseys from. Number 6,
Yes.
Steph Curry.
Okay. He's trailing who?
But Mike, do
mean-
you not understand LeBron? How many jerseys did he have? Like even Kobe had 2 numbers.
But again, guys, I'm not.
Everybody wanted
You're
both.
looking at jersey sales. I'm not talking. He is the most endorsed athlete in the world,
Mike,
over Ronaldo, over
that's
Messi,
because
over
the
these
US
international
has
soccer
that's because
people.
the US has the most money to work with, Mike. That's
Oh.
not the same thing. I'm telling you.
Guys,
Endorse
his jersey in China is cheaper than it is in the United States because it doesn't have to get imported.
that's because
and
they
pay
have to
VAT
lower the
taxes.
price of it to sell it.
They got to lower the price of everything because there's no VAT tax. There's so many taxes and imports, and so stop it, guys. Buying a jersey is buying a jersey.
I'm Mike, as someone who has been involved with international basketball, at least to a degree, I'm just telling you,
But you're
the
okay,
rest
and
of the world does
even if you
not
want to look at just
about it.
basketball, I'm not looking at just basketball. I'm talking about as far as the entire world and what they're buying, whether it's basketball or Gatorade.
Okay, well, they're buying more Steph Curry jerseys last year than LeBron James. So that I just gave you a
And
number.
again, that's just basketball. I'm telling you on a global scale, he's known for more than just basketball. The guy is on Forbes's list. He's a billionaire. He's an active NBA player that is a billionaire.
Omar, I just have to ask you, outside of basketball, what do you know about LeBron James?
I know a little more. I personally know a little more about
The guy has his own museum. He has a school. He just
That's an investment that he made personally.
but people know him
Okay,
because of that.
hold on.
Outside of the US, they don't. So like
hold on,
you
time
think
out,
some guy in
time
France
out,
like,
time
bro, I
out,
really
time out.
want to go to LeBron's school.
Okay.
I want to
okay,
transfer
okay.
over there. Come on.
Okay,
man.
Mike, from a business acumen and a businessman, LeBron has done what no other athlete has done. I will
Agreed.
give that. And we said this before, and I'll say this again. LeBron owns Clutch Sports. There's a document written and hidden in some kind of vault until he retires, where he come find out he owns Clutch. We all know that, right? And he's probably going to own an NBA team. And I would not be surprised if he ends up buying the damn Lakers, right?
God, he doesn't.
So
Just
so
let
so
him
so
Cleveland. Let
so
him
I
stay
am
in
not I
Cleveland.
am not knocking LeBron's business acumen and him being the first billionaire athlete. Okay. But what we're talking about here, Mike, is
Outside of the US.
outside of the US, people know him because we live in a world of social media, Zico, and things are more accessible and information is more accessible. But what I'm saying is Steph has been to China, has put cans for Under Armour there, has, if you pay attention to just, you know, that aspect of it, LeBron doesn't care to go to China to do a camp in China and do anything like that.
He is
He's
sponsored by crypto.com. It's a major cryptocurrency in the world. He owns
Okay,
10% of Blaze Pizza.
I'm gonna go
He's
back.
owns
I'm gonna go
Lyft. He
back.
owns Tonal.
All
Like,
things American. I'm gonna just go back to this one more time. I'm not dissing LeBron when I say
I'm not saying
I
you
think he
are.
should be on this team. I'm not just talking about it from this stuff. I'm talking about from a basketball future standpoint for the team. I didn't think LeBron needed to be on this team. From a Laker fan, I don't think LeBron should be on this team. I think he needs to focus on the next season. That's all I'm referring to. I don't think LeBron is going to go in there and all these guys are be like, I wish I would have signed with the Lakers to play with LeBron. I don't think any of that's going to happen at this point in his career. He's 40 years old. There's no future with him on Team USA at this point. Cool. If he wants one last hurrah on the team, sure. All right, fine. I'll accept it. I'll leave my 2 guys as Embiid and Booker to be removed from this team. And LeBron would have been the third if I were replaced and built for the future and put Cooper Flag. That's it.
I'm still stuck on this LeBron thing, and I know we got to end it, but you guys have heard of Beats by Dre, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he kind of owned a part of them and sponsored by them. AT&T, you've heard of AT&T? They're pretty global, right?
No, they're not actually. T-Mobile's global. Nobody uses AT&T in Europe. I go to Europe all the
But
time.
but
you have
you
AT&T,
know,
you can't use it in Europe.
but you know what? But it's still AT&T is overseas.
Not in Europe.
No, it's not. It's
Okay,
actually
that's just Europe, guys. The world is bigger than just Europe and America.
no, bro. I traveled to other parts of the world. There's no AT&T.
There's no AT&T, Mike. It doesn't work. Your phone.
Okay, but
you need to get an alternate SIM card to make it work over there.
So you know who, but it works over there with the SIM card. But you know who Apple is, right?
Of course, I know.
Until recently, they were the biggest company in the world.
Right.
Yeah, they sponsor LeBron James.
I didn't talk about them not sponsoring.
But that's what I'm saying. They
In
people know
America,
him.
it's-
You're saying he's less well known internationally than Steph
No,
Curry.
I said
That's
he's
okay.
less
bananas.
well liked and looked at
Okay.
as the face of the team. There's a complete
Mike,
difference.
you
The
started.
rest
You
of the
started.
NBA doesn't. They're not. The NBA is no longer scared of him. They're scared of Luca. They're scared of other
Okay.
players. They're not Jokic.
Zico,
They don't
Zico.
care about
But
him.
we're that's not.
Zico.
I'm not
So hold
talking
on, hold on,
about
hold on.
players.
We're going.
You
we're
said
going
he's the
off.
face of the
We're
team.
going
What
off
makes him the
tangent here.
face?
Mike,
Because
you
it's
stated-
recognized.
no, Mike, you stated your argument of why LeBron's on the team is you sold it in a way that it is for marketing, it is for sales, it is the same way you try to sell it why LeBron re-signed with the Lakers and why the Lakers are putting everything behind LeBron. The same way you're saying, oh, Apple's putting, sponsoring LeBron, X, Y, and Z sponsoring LeBron. We're not talking about that. If that's your reason to put him on a team to represent a nation, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons because international basketball is different than the NBA and different than day-to-day sales and marketing.
But I also got done saying that I still believe for one game he's the best player on that team.
I
Word
will
for word.
not disagree with you. For
So
one
that's why
game, he will be the
Cool.
best player,
He's
and
going to
it'll
be
be
the best
against
player
one of
when
the.
they play.
It'll be against It'll be against one of the
South
lower
Sudan.
teams because the second it happens to be one of the elite teams, or someone else will have to step up to the end to save his ass. I'm going to leave it at that, Mike. The same way it happened when he was in his prime, someone else had to step up to save his ass.
What are you talking about in his prime?
Dwayne Wade on Team USA was a better carrier than it was LeBron. But we're not going to spend too much time on that. Yes, against South Sudan,
we gotta go.
Against South Sudan, he's going to be the best player of that game.
We
And
gotta wrap
that's
it up.
cool.
I can't wait till we see this. We'll look at box scores.
We'll look at box scores. How did it look last game? Was he the best player on the court? Looking at
Last
the
game
box,
was an exhibition.
he's not going to be the best player on this team, Mike. We'll look at the box scores. This will be great for the future episodes, and we'll see how LeBron James is coming along, and we'll see if he's stat stuffing and looking like the best player in the world, or if it's someone else stepping up and it's them, because I think it's going to be someone else that's going to step. I think Steph Curry is probably going to have monster games, just firing away wide open threes. I think Anthony Edwards is going to have monster games. I think KD is going to have more monster games. LeBron will. I think AD is going to have more monster games. LeBron will. So let's see how it all works out as things go forward. And we watch LeBron sitting at the end of the game. Someone else is in for him.
Collecting a gold medal.
Okay.
Well, he also missed out on his first gold medal when he was with Tim Duncan, and he needed Kobe Bryant to go save him in the next one and the next two, actually, so they could get those gold medals. So that's the only reason he has two of them to begin with. All right, guys, I'm ending the episode there.
Oh man.
All right, you guys have a good night.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Like and subscribe.